Hey folks, how's it going? This is Mike. I know you've been seeing way too much of me lately, but I wanted to do a very quick update on some of the things that I've been bringing into the house lately from different sources. And starting off with the Criterion Collection 50% off sale, which took place last month. And at the end of the video, I want to address Ian's weekly chat topic, which he introduced yesterday. So, all right. So the 50% off sale actually showed some restraint this time, and I only bought 4 items. Starting off with this Monterey Pop Complete package, which of course has the documentary concert film. It also has 2 additional discs. One is Jimi Hendrix of Monterey and Otis Redding, and then it also has some of the outtake performances that were not included in the documentary. People like Laura Nero singing Poverty Train, which is wonderful. They have something by the Mamas and the Papas. They also have a song by Big Brother and the Holding Company on which Janis Joplin does not sing lead. So that's kind of interesting. It's kind of hard to believe they would actually put that on there. But yeah. Okay, so another one that I bought, also dealing with music. This is called Festival from 1967. This is a documentary that is kind of an overview of the Newport Folk Festival, Newport, Rhode Island, between the years 1963 and 1966. And it's only 98 minutes long, so it's impossible to have a lot of complete musical performances. So most of them are just very brief parts of performances, which is kind of frustrating because it just made me want to hear more music. But it's got people like Joan Baez, Bob Dylan, Judy Collins, Odetta, Peter, Paul, and Mary, Donovan, staple singers. It's got Howlin' Wolf, Theodore Bickel, all kinds of people, and they show a little bit of the crowd and they talk to some people, but mainly it's just showing the music, and it's in black and white, and it brought back a lot of great atmospheric feelings from that era. And I just wish they had shown more complete performances. What really turned me on was watching Peter, Paul, and Mary, because I grew up with them, mostly just hearing their records, but in concert, they were just dynamic. I mean, I had forgotten how intense they were, and they actually showed a complete performance of a couple of their songs, so that was nice. All right, I bought another Charlie Chaplin film, Monsieur Bordeaux, which I've never seen, and I still haven't watched Limelight, which I bought in one of the last sales. So, okay. So the stack is getting larger, right? And also this film noir, which I've never seen, is called Moonrise, from 1948. Directed by Frank Worzage. It stars Dane Clark and Gail Russell. Of course, Gail Russell had made a big splash in 1944 in a horror film called The Uninvited. Just a really wonderful actress. And I'm looking forward to seeing this too. So you'll notice 3 of these movies start with the letter M. I think that's because at my Barnes & Noble, the M shelf is just as high as I am, 5', 6.5", and it's right in front of my face, and I can see it without my glasses. So I started picking out M movies. Anyway, all right, Criterion. Then I also picked up through the mail a copy of The Endless, which is a wonderful horror science fiction film that came out last year, and I just saw it a couple of months ago. It came here for a very brief time. I'm so glad I saw it. It's one of the best movies I've seen in the last couple of years, so I'm anxious to get back into that. I also sent away for The Cat and the Canary, or is that The Bat and the Canary? Bat? No, there's no bat in the title. It's all cat, right? Not bat, cat. My friend Harry Benson was talking about this on Facebook, and some other friends of mine, they were talking about it, and I'd never seen it, so I wanted to catch it. Watched it last night. It is absolutely wonderful. I mean, the atmosphere, the set design, and the really imaginative photography that they had. I loved it. It had some very, very creepy moments, but it also had a lot of comedy. So, and the acting is very interesting in this because the lead actress is a woman named Laura LaPlante that I don't know very much about. But this was 1927, right? 1927, and the acting style by that time in silent films was getting to be a little bit less of the exaggerated pantomime and the eye rolling and the weaving back and forth. So Laura LaPlante was very much like one of her contemporaries, a woman named Louise Brooks, who was years ahead of her time in acting in silent films. Very understated performance, and some of the other actors were doing the same thing. I love this movie a lot, and I will watch this again and again. Great musical accompaniment. Usually I don't like the music that they put in silent films, but this is very good. So, The Cat and the Canary. Also, I wanted to show you something that I found at a place called Rural King, which is a sort of a rednecky store that we have in the Midwest. And they sell everything from groceries to, Western clothing to horse feed and saddles and everything you can think of that for people who live in the country, since we all kind of live in the country. I'm showing this because my friend James Higgins posted a video that he was showing his collection beginning with the letter P, and he mentioned a film that he had bought found at the Rural King, and I can't remember now what it was, but he said of all places to find this movie. And here's what I found at Rural King: A Midsummer Night's Dream. Can you believe this? This was in a big box of movies. It was between the dog food and the horse feed, and this is a 1935 Warner Brothers film, Max Reinhardt's adaptation of A Midsummer Night's Dream, starring people like Jimmy Cagney, Joey Brown, Dick Powell, Gene Muir, Marie Teasdale, Mickey Rooney, and it also has the film debut of Olivia de Havilland. So, of all places, Rural King. Yeah. Okay, I also sent away for this compilation of pre-code films, Forbidden Hollywood, Volume 3. Now, the reason I bought this is because it has a specific film I wanted to watch called Wild Boys of the Road. This is a collection of films all directed by William Wellman. They called him Wild Bill. And I don't know any of the other titles. Things like Other Men's Women, The Purchase Price, Frisco Jenny, Midnight Mary, Heroes for Sale, but the last one is Wild Boys of the Road. And I was very interested in seeing that because I read something about it, and also it stars my new favorite young actor of that era, Frankie Darrow. It's a fantastic movie, really worth seeing. Okay, so I got that. And speaking of Frankie Darrow, I also picked up this movie that came out the same year, 1933, starring James Cagney and Frankie Darrow, who actually has a bigger part in the film than James Cagney, but Cagney, being a Warner Brothers contract player, got top billing. So yeah, this is called The Mayor of Hell. Similar to Wild Boys of the Road, it's about a bunch of young kids who are homeless and getting involved in crime, and they all go away to this reform school. And Jimmy Cagney is a crook who, well, it's kind of a convoluted story, but he becomes the head man of the school, and he has to butt heads with Frankie Darrow, who is a young kid who just doesn't want to toe the line. Very good movie. Very happy to have it. Speaking of Frankie Darrow, I mentioned the other day that I bought a whole bunch of things starring Frankie Darrow from Alpha Video. So let me show you these right away. He made a lot of films at Monogram Studios, and some of them he was paired with a comedian of the time named Mantan Moreland. So some of these feature Frankie and Mantan. You're Out of Luck. The Gang's All Here. Anything for a Thrill. That's Frankie Darrow on the cover. Irish Luck. Wanted by the Police. That's a great cover. Black Gold. That's Frankie by himself. This is a serial called The Vanishing Legion, starring Harry Carey. Another Frankie and Mantan on the spot. And here's a double bill film called The Star Reporter, which Frankie is not in, but also Headline Crasher, which he stars in. And I bought this compilation of episodes from an old TV show called The Public Defender. And the reason why I bought this is because Frankie Darrow is in one of these episodes, along with a young actor named Charles Bronson. This is the early 1950s. Charles Bronson is standing up here looking down at 5'3" Frankie Darrow, who's quite a bit older. And Frankie gets a chance to slap Charles Bronson right across the face. It's wonderful. I'm sure he had a great time doing that. Okay, now, so I'm going to address the question. Ian brought up the question, do we ever get bored by watching our favorite actors and actresses? And I can answer this very quickly. I do not get bored watching the people that I love in the cinema. Bored is not the word I would use. I think that even though you might love a certain genre, a certain film, a certain actor or actress, you can't watch them every day. It's not a matter of getting tired of them. It's just a matter of you move on to other things. You get your fix, so to speak. For example, my #1 film in the whole universe is still The Night of the Hunter, starring Robert Mitchum. And Robert Mitchum is my favorite actor, but I can't watch that film every week. I go for months before I want to, take it down off the shelf again. I love Bette Davis. I can't watch her every day. I could watch 2 or 3 Bette Davis films in a row, but I don't, just watch them over and over. So no, that's not the word I would use. These people are so incredible to me that I will always go back to them with great pleasure. And finally, one thing about this cover to this Bergman package. My friend Wolfgratz and I have been talking about this at great length, and I've decided that I can't live with a spider. So these movies will be put on the shelf, and this, it's either me or that spider. And guess who pays the mortgage around here? Yeah? Got it? Okay.